Good morning and welcome along to Take Me to Your Paradise. I'm JP and I'm joined this morning with our good man, Mr. William Glavin, the man of true tactics. The man he's always been good enough to come along and give us a tactical insight to Celtic's opposition, albeit this season in the Champions League. And it's always really good to get William's insights. As indeed, Mr. William Glavin. Good morning, mate.
Morning, how are we? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, good. No, glad to be back and obviously have a chat with everyone here that's sort of joined us this morning and your good self, and really have a closer look at obviously Club Brugge and maybe even chat about the Leipzig game, given how good that was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like we say, it's obviously Leipzig. You were here the last time when we had a chat about Leipzig, and we with the tactical breakdown of Leipzig, we understood how Leipzig were going to play, William. But were you surprised by the way Celtic went about their business that night?
I think I wasn't surprised in terms of what the game plan was. I think we spoke about that the last time we were obviously chatting before the game and doing the breakdown, that Celtic had to really retain possession well, had to play nice sort of in terms of one-touch football in the middle of the park to really break through their lines of pressure. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, it was more the execution, I think, that surprised everybody. Yeah. Everyone knew how we had to play and how it came together, but in terms of how we actually executed the game plan that night and how the players performed, and I mean every player on the park were just honestly phenomenal that night. One thing that was really interesting that I looked at before I came along this morning was just looking through the team stats from that game in terms of the amount of times we won a 1v1 duel, so beating a man, and also the amount of times we gave the ball away. Mm-hmm. And that's, other than the Aberdeen game the weekend before that in the League Cup, that was the fewest basically passes misplaced in any game this season in that Leipzig game, which you could obviously see on the park because we kept the ball so well in terms of playing through it.
What surprised you most about the way we played? Because we spoke to Barry Bannon, remember I'd said to you, because Barry actually thought we would have played Adamida, because he thought a bit of that would have been backs to the wall and, the way that we played, but that wasn't the case, on that night, even though we went a goal behind. What was more surprising to you with the way Celtic approached after going the goal down, and then they just took control of the game, William?
I think that's showing that resilience really surprised me, because when they scored, you're kind of like, oh, here we go again type thing in the Champions League. But showing the resilience and showing, we obviously were under a bit of pressure at that point. We were trying to obviously sort of ride over that pressure they were putting on us. But see, once we got the goal, we never looked back. I think that the thing that was impressive for me was really our speed of play, how quickly we were moving the ball, how quickly we were beating their pressure constantly, like playing a nice pass right between two players, and then next thing you know, Leipzig have lost 5 players out of that pressure. Yeah. So getting ahead of them, Nicholas Kuhn was phenomenal. Like he had the boy on toast. I think he was trying to come off at the end of the game, to be honest. Who's a very good player.
He was drinking for his mammy, wasn't
he? So I think the most impressive thing was really the execution, the speed of play, and I think everybody won their individual battle that night on the field.
Yeah, 100%. Good morning to you guys as well, the viewers. I hope you are all well. We'll come to a couple of comments, William, as we always do. And good morning, JP, William, and the chat. Jerry Burns says, morning, JP, William, and everyone else. Good to see you back on and get your thoughts for tonight, William.
Thanks, Jerry.
P. McLaughlin says, work's always a drag when the Hoops are playing midweek. Adi Oladipo seems to be the one that sings your praises a lot, mate. He says, it's good to see William back on. Brugge got lesser talent than Leipzig, but Brugge look like they work harder. Set up is class, JP. And thank you very much. That's why I'm a gaffer, mate. That's why I'm here. It's not just a pretty face. Give me this over Monday Night Football any day of the week, William.
I don't think I'm taking Jamie Carragher's job yet, or Gary Neville when he's on it. So no, I think their job's safe at the minute. Thanks anyway.
Aye, thanks for your comments. Ryan's in as well. Ryan, he's morning lads. Big Alan, he's got to rub it in. He says good morning from Tenerife.
Of course.
I hope you're having a good holiday, Alan. Hope it's nice and warm, mate. Like I did say to you when you were live on Saturday on the channel, You do have to come home. You do have to come home. Frank Kennedy's also on. He says, William has been a lucky charm so far. Morning, boys. Well, I've got to say, I mean, out with the Borussia Dortmund game, mate, I've got to agree with him.
Just about to say that there. I think that we'll forget about the Dortmund game. That never happened.
No, we'll try and erase that from our memory. But thanks again for bringing that up, Frank. Big Rab as well. Morning, gents. And then it's just a couple of them all chatting among one another. Right, folks. Before we go any further, as you are all aware, William, you're aware as well, we have been doing a bonus ball for the channel. So what I'm going to do just now is I'm just going to get my numbers up and have a look at the draw. And I'm going to do the live draw just now, folks, okay? So just bear with me just now. So William, you need to stay witness to this, so that everyone knows I'm not fiddling anything and I'm not doing... Yeah, the adjudicator. So I'm glad I've got William with me because I'm doing a live draw just now here on my laptop for you folks. So just bear with me a second. So bonus ball wheel. There we go. So what's going on, man? Right, hold on a minute. Is this it here? No. Come out with that. Hold on. Right, wait a minute. Why is that not working? Just give me a second, folks. I'm looking to get a bonus ball in order to do that. It's coming up. Are you able to see if you can help me find this, William?
Aye.
So I'm looking for a bonus ball just to...
Do you want me to take your laptop?
No, if you can do it, can you do it on your phone? So William's going to help me with this, folks, so we can get this done live for you folks.
What's the numbers between 1 and 50?
Yeah, the numbers were between 1 and 50, mate, yeah. Is that it there? No, it's a ring, man.
This one?
What's that? Is it a wheel?
It's not a wheel. You just press it and it does it. You want the wheel?
Aye, preferably. Aye, because then you've got the spinning wheel. Don't worry, because I will spin my laptop round to show everybody this happening. Right, so, can I take that a wee second, William? Right, so folks, I am going to use William's phone and I'm going to come closer to the camera for you guys to see. If you can all see that wheel there, okay? So I am now going to get William to press this and then tell us what the winning number is. On you go.
And the number is 45.
Number 45. Let's see who we have. Number 45. And the winner is Lindsay Greenwood, that watches the show. Well done, Lindsay. You'll need to contact us, pal, in order to get your winnings. So if you can message us on Facebook, I know you have done previously to that. So yeah, we will we'll organise to get your prize to you. And Lindsay has won herself, William, Scotland jersey from the 2017 to each squad that drew with England.
Yep, good stuff. Well done, Lindsay. Well played.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I do apologise, folks. For some reason, my laptop wasn't allowing me to find the bonus ball wheel, and that's why we've got William here also for his assistance in that as well. So yeah, Leipzig. So we were chatting about the Leipzig game. And as it turns out, William, we actually spooked Leipzig because I don't think they were looking or even had prepared for us to set up in such a way.
I think that, yeah, they definitely were spooked. Looking back at the game, because we were so intense with the counter pressing, they didn't really have an answer for that. So it was really difficult for them. And as well, they were actually starting to build up from the back. So from starting for the goalkeeper, we were on them right away. So it was really difficult. We were obviously suffocating them in their own sort of third of the field. So it was really difficult for them to even try and get out. They were trying to play long balls up to Šeško, try to get him onto the ball. But to be honest, like, looking back at that game, Šeško didn't really get a look in, really. I think we defended against them very, very well. To the point, him and Openda were really getting frustrated in the game until they obviously get substituted. So man for man, we were hands down the better team on the park, and I just felt that they really struggled to cope with our counter pressing in that game, which was great to see.
What I found interesting, William, on that game was the way that, you know, Kevin Campbell and his post-match interview, and he made it like he highlighted guys like Callum McGregor and Rio Watati, and he sort of alluded to that they couldn't get near them, they couldn't control them, and I found that quite interesting. And do you think that's a massive compliment also for us because of the way we counter-press teams and just get after teams?
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Campbell was a player I've admired for a long, long time. I remember seeing Kevin Campbell play against us for Salzburg at Celtic Park a good few years ago, that was now. And he actually ran the whole game, like everything went through him. So for him to then come back to Celtic Park and then say those words and say that how they couldn't handle our pressure and they couldn't get near us, I think it just goes to show how good a job that Brendan and the coaching staff have really done. Because I remember sitting here maybe 9-10 months ago, or we were on Zoom at the time doing it, and we'd done a wee analysis of the Easter Road game, and we just looked like no identity in the team. They looked like players were a bit struggling to where they had to be and what they had to do. There was no movement. Remember, we had looked at a wee analysis. There was no movement in the middle of the park from O'Reilly and Bernardo. Look at us now. We're absolutely flying in terms of the fluidity in the team, how we're moving, how we're rotating, how we're playing, and we're really just killing opponents now, really. Especially when we're in, especially from that Aberdeen, going from the Aberdeen game into the Leipzig game, that's some of the best football I've seen in a long, long time at Celtic Park against Leipzig.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I've definitely got to agree. It's probably arguably one of the best nights we've had in Europe as a club. I mean, I know we've had great nights under Martin O'Neill and Neil Lennon, we beating Barcelona and stuff, but you talk about today's game, you're not up against, you know, you were up against a very good side, and ultimately now, I mean, after last night, they've not even got a point after 5 games in the Champions League.
I know, absolutely, and I think I agree. I've been to many great nights at Celtic. Going back to Martin O'Neill when I used to go to games with my dad. Remember the Juventus game? You know, I remember the was it the Leon game? I think was it Leon game? I think it was one as well. Was it Leon Miller scored in that game? Was that Leon? There was a game Liam Miller scored. Henrik Larsson crossed it in. Anderlecht as well. So just came back my memory there. So those were great nights. But I think in terms of sheer performance output, that's the best football I've seen in a European game, I think, against Leipzig. So hopefully more of the same tonight.
Yeah, and as he says, tonight, folks, Celtic take on Club Brugge in the Champions League next up at Paradise. And that's why we're here today, William, to get the kind of lowdown on our opposition, mate. So I'm going to give you the mic for you to just take this away, and I'm going to take a I'll just have a wee lie down here and, and you hold the fort for a bit. But yeah, fire away.
Okay. So, looking into obviously Club Brugge as a club, they're obviously one of the biggest clubs in Belgium, go back quite well in terms of traditions, and they've won a lot of things over the years. They have a sort of similar model to ourselves in terms of their signing policies. So they tend to bring players in that are young. Leipzig, I suppose, do that to an extent as well, but they're obviously competing at a higher level. But if we look at Club Brugge, they tend to bring players in young and then shift them on for big money. One of the key names that's obviously left this year is Nusa, who we obviously spoke about in the Leipzig game. He obviously went for a few quid going to Leipzig from Club Brugge last year. So, as I said, their signing policy tends to be more the younger players. That being said, they brought in the boy Nelson, who was actually playing in Belgium for another side, OHL. And they brought him in as a striker, but he's actually injured at the minute just now. So, looking at obviously what they've done this summer in terms of transfers, they've brought in the boy Zolis, who people might know looking back at the weekend. They won 7-0 at the weekend, and Zolis scored 4 of them, if I remember right. 4 goals, I think he scored. So he's come in. The boy Nelson's come in. Romero Jashari, who's a player I'll touch on, I quite like him as well. He's a Swiss player. And CK, but CK and Nelson have picked up a couple of injuries this year. But in terms of their spend, they've only spent about 28 million euros this year. But the players that they sold, they made 56 million euros.
Wow.
So they're always a turnover of players, but they're always looking for profit in their turnover, and that's how the club basically is run. So, in terms of when we look at the team, JP and everyone watching, it's basically what I'm going to say is if you take all the statistics and the data and you actually look at how the shit's set up, it's very similar to us. There's a couple of wee things in there that they tweak, but in terms of how they play from an attacking perspective, it's similar to how we do it. So in terms of the standard setup shape is 4-2-3-1. People might think that this becomes 2 defensive midfielders in here. It actually doesn't. He actually tends to jump and become two number 8s. So no, Jashiri tends to be the number 6.
Right.
He's the main pivot man. He's the guy orchestrating the midfield. He's the Callum McGregor of Club Brugge. Right, okay. Jashiri. That's who he is. So sometimes, normally you would expect this 8 here to be Hugo Veltesen, who played for Bodo Glimt, played against us, very good player. He's actually out. He's a doubt tonight. I think he's picked up an injury at the weekend or last week, the week before, but he is a doubt. So it might be Onyedeka that's in there, who was at Brentford and obviously came from Midtjylland in Denmark. He's more of a physical player than Veltesen. Veltesen's probably more of a technical player. But what tends to happen is, with the ball, Jashiri will drop, become that main sort of pivot, and you'll look for the wing, basically the fullbacks, to push forward, similar to what we do. So with Jashiri popping back into the defence, that means the centre-backs basically spread out and create a bit of width there. Looking at how they basically move forward, when they get up towards the sort of attacking players, you've got Skov Olsen on the right, and you've got Zolis, who we were just talking about there on the left. So they tend to be more inverted and try and come in and support their number 9. It'll probably be Vermaat in this game tonight. They have had a couple of injury problems up there. It could be Jutgler that might play up there, but I think it's going to be Vermaat. So they'll tend to come up and try and support him, and then you've got your number 8s and your number 10, Van Aken, who's their captain. He'll come into that spot as well. And the wing backs will basically try and bomb forward, both sides, and link up the play in the middle of the park. Very similar to what we do. There's always overlaps, or if someone's out there, there'll be an underlap. That's basically how they progress forward.
So they're different from Atalanta then, William, in that players will not rotate into shapes.
Sorry.
No, it's just I nearly swallowed that there. But are they different from Atalanta in a way that, you know, players don't rotate from positions? Players will stick to the positions but just move shape as a team?
Yeah, so they don't rotate into different positions like Atalanta do. It is different. It's more in line with what we do. So you'd expect, if it's us we're talking about here, Alistair Johnson's either going to go underlap or overlap past Kuhn. It's the same thing. Skov Olsen will be there, and it'll probably be Size that will play right back. He'll either go inside or outside and try and progress the ball down. The whole idea will be that they'll get into the wide area, and you've got, you know, Vermaat, Van Aken, probably on Onyedeka, and you've also got Solis coming in from the inside as well.
Right, okay.
Getting into the box, if the ball's over here, that's where they'll try and cross the ball in. Similar to what we do with Kyogo and Maeda and whatever, someone at the back post. So it's very, very similar with the ball, how they play. Similar to us.
So a couple of questions. First of all, can everybody hear me on this mic? We did have a bit of trouble with it at the beginning. I just want to make sure people can hear me through this one. And we can just leave William with the one he has in his hand, because he's got used to holding that there. A couple of wee questions for yourself, William. Ryan, first up, he says,
Ryan.
What's their biggest threat, William? As you told me, the stats to us and them are roughly the same this season, but what's obviously their biggest threat then? So what would you say?
I would, Ryan, obviously, going back to the stats, the way they play the game in terms of attacking play is very similar to us, and basically how I described it there is similar to what we do with Celtic. But their main threat is probably their individuals, I would say. So I would say guys like Skov Olsen on the wing, Zolis, these are guys that we really need to contain, because these are the guys that are going to try and get into the box and obviously get a shot off and goal. They're going to be a problem. One of the other threats I would definitely say is probably further back, as I'd say Yashari. Everything goes through him. He's basically, as I said, the Callum McGregor of Club Brugge. All the play will try and go through him, and he'll try and dictate the ball either into the wide areas, or he'll try and find Van Aken in the middle of the park. Van Aken's your typical number 10. He's going to try and drop into this area of space in here between our defensive and midfield lines. So he'll just be constantly looking for space in there. So talking about Yashari, he has got enough ability and quality to find those passes and get the passes and sort of thread the needle. So I would definitely say the two wide men and Yashari are ones to look out for.
So do you think that our counter press then will probably be the most important part to stop them from counter attacking?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that, folks, is to the normal fan, they're probably not aware of Celtic's counter pressing. I'll give you an example. First goal at the weekend for us on Saturday at Tynecastle. You look at Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor then jumps, and to everybody else, it looks like the Hearts defender has made balls up with his clearance, mate. He's just been put under that pressure that Callum McGregor. And for me, William, that's become a big part of Celtic's makeup this season. I think that's becoming, and for me, that's what's killing teams. It helped us to kill off Leipzig in a way that we pressed Geertruida, we pressed Heinrichs. As soon as they tried to come out, Kuhn and Maeda were right on them. But there was a mistake. I don't know if you remember it, William, you go back to the Leipzig game. There was a mistake with Gulacsi in the 5th minute. Kyogo pressed him and he slips. And then you see the IQ of them clicking on and going, oh, hold on a minute, this mob are, this mob are, they're getting away the ball here. So, is there a way to do that with this side in terms of, you talk about Jashiri, but surely with the way we play and the three that we have, there must be a formula to manipulate it so that we leave him isolated, and effectively even someone like a Greg Taylor coming infield to kind of shadow that, to help out. So, and essentially it leaves a 5 when we're pressing. Is there a way for us to do that against this team tonight?
Looking at Club Brugge, they don't react well. Let's split them up a wee bit. Let's look at the defensive unit, right? The defensive unit don't react well when they lose the ball. So that's perfect for us in terms of counter pressure. So when Club Brugge lose the ball, they are a wee bit disorganised. They seem to lose their way a wee bit. I've lost a few goals because of that this year as
Away
well.
from home as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry. So they don't react well under pressure. The critical point of our game tonight is going to be as containing Yashari, not letting them get on the ball for too long, which might mean that you might look at, I don't know, you might look at Kyogo probably sitting there on him, or you might look at one of the midfielders coming up and getting on him. So I think one of the key elements as well is Club Brugge tend to play a lot of back to Simon Mignolet. People will probably remember him from his time at Liverpool. So they like to get him involved, a bit like how we like to get Schmeichel involved in the game as well. But he's not the best on the ball. I wouldn't say he's fantastic.
Is he not? No?
I wouldn't say
I thought he was.
I wouldn't say he's fantastic. In recent games, going back looking at it, a couple of misplaced passes, been out of position a couple of times. There is enough to get at that point. What I will say is, so I think the critical point what you're saying is about counter pressing. We need to be up here doing exactly what we've done Leipzig game. If we do that, we'll get opportunities to score. That's a given. But one of the things that's interesting with Club Brugge is they're not a team that's going to come out and press us. They're quite happy to sit in their shape and sit probably, I would say, mid to low block, and it's basically like come and break us down.
Right.
So I think we're going to need to box clever in the game. I think there's definitely going to be opportunities to put that a lot of, whereas Leipzig were more sort of up here, I would say, not completely as much as us, a bit gung-ho in terms of we were counter-pressing up here. Leipzig were a wee bit further back, Brugge are further back again, especially with it being away. I think that's going to be their approach. They're going to be, listen, I think a draw, they'd be happy with a draw, to be honest, because they know how bad it's going to be at Celtic Park, because we're going to be on them.
Right. Just come back to the questions
sure.
here. Jerry Burns is asking, William, would you stick to the same tactics we used against Leipzig?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jerry. I don't see why we should change. I think we blew a team like Leipzig away, who are probably a better team on paper as you look at it, and are doing well in the Bundesliga. I think Club Brugge are really going to struggle with the counter pressure. I don't think they have an answer for it. So it's got to be that same intensity for me.
Right, okay. Ryan says he would be trying his best to test Simon as much as possible. He's prone to a bigger mistake.
Yeah, speaking about the goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper.
I definitely, Ryan, looking back on some of the games, you know, listen, this is a team that don't lose often in Belgium, but obviously they've had a couple of results. Genk obviously beat them 4-2, and Mignolet wasn't great in that game. That's obviously a couple of months ago. They've not lost a game. I think they maybe only lost 1-11, and I think one was the Champions League against Aston Villa. So they're definitely to be got at tonight. 100% agree with you on the goalkeeper front.
Yeah. Anything else we've not touched on with Brugge?
I think one of the interesting things that's probably worth looking at as well is really in terms of how they're going to be doing their attacking play. As I said, it's going to be underlaps, it's going to be progressing the ball down the wings. But one thing I would notice is they're not as direct as you would probably expect. I think they're a bit more patient in the build-up. So when Yashari will get on the ball, if he's got time, he'll maybe knock it back to the centre-backs or even knock it back to the goalie. But that's our moment to really hit that trigger and pressure them. I think, as I said, Yashari's a key man. He's an excellent player, technically very, very good. I think Yashari's probably one of the players in the team that will end up probably in the Bundesliga or one of the top 5 leagues.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, when obviously, as I said, they don't put a lot of pressure on the opposition, but looking at the data, a lot of the pressure seems to come down from this area here, from Zolis and their centre forward. So that might be interesting. That'll be something that Brendan's probably looked at with the squad and looking at Ali Johnson and saying, look, Ali, there's going to be a bit of pressure coming at you, so he needs to really show that press resistance to play a pass into McGregor or play a pass sidewards over to.
Not only that, he's on a booking, so if he's booked tonight, then
they might identify that. I would be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah.
So you might find Zolis might be coming out the traps really, really quick, putting AJ under a bit of pressure, trying to force that mistake. Because see, at the end of the day, anytime a team pressures another team, they're just looking to force an error. Or so if it's like giving the ball away or they kick the ball out, basically how do we get the ball back?
Yeah.
That's basically all it's all about. But they might put added pressure on AJ purely because he's got that booking, but also they've got the speed here in Zolis that he can come out the traps really, really quick and obviously put him under pressure.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, do you think that's quite important then for AJ, just to not be too rash in his challenges and know, because the lad Zolis seems to look like one of those players that tries to get you to foul him. He goes up against you and tries to get you to pull him and foul him. And anything I've seen of the lad, I mean, I remember him when he was a young lad. He's still a young lad, he's 22, but when he was a younger lad at Norwich and stuff, and then obviously over to Dusseldorf, and now at Club Brugge. I've kind of followed the lad because he was one of the kind of players that I thought, I think he'd be good for us. You know, that development type player that would come in. And
I think he's doing really well at Club Brugge just now. He's really found his feet there, I think, and I think you're right in what you're saying. He's going to have a go at AJ tonight. He'll take him on. He'll try and come inside. He'll try and pull AJ out of position. That'll let the Kuipers probably go and bomb on. So he's going to be a bit of a handful tonight. I think if we can keep him quiet, keep Scott Olsen quiet, and keep Yashari quiet, I don't see why we can't obviously win the game.
Yeah.
In terms of the lineup, the sort of predicted lineup for Brugge, if you want to touch on that, JP. Basically, I think they're going to go Mignolet. Obviously, Mignolet is going to play at the back.
Yep.
Sayes will probably play right back because they've got CK's out injured at the minute.
Aye.
So possibly Ordonez, who's actually not a bad defender, to be honest, big Ecuadorian player. He's a good defender, a bit of a handful. If it's not him, it'll be Spiliers. They have Michele at left centre back. They've got De Kuipers, Yashari, who we've obviously touched on Yedeka, will play as a number 8. Then you've got sort of Vanaken breaking through here. Sorry, I'll set that back up. Scott Olsen.
You confused me there. I was wondering because you were going like that.
Because I was messing about. Sorry, it's 4-2-3-1 if anybody's not sure. So Vanaken is a pure number 10. Zolis, Scott Olsen, and it'll be Vermaat possibly up front. It might be Jutla, but to be honest, Ferin Jutla's not scored any goals this year, so I think it'll go.
See the lad Vermaat up front. Is that the big lad? Is he quite big and physical?
He's a big physical player.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean that essentially then that could eat into either CCV or like Austin Trusty.
I don't see anything in Vermaat that would really cause a problem for either of those defenders. Like
Slovan Bratislava had a big fella up front as well, and he never really get going. He's actually
not a bad player. If I forget his name now, but
I can't mind his name either. If anybody in the comments wants to tell us,
if you can let us know.
The striker that played for Slovan Bratislava against Celtic.
He's actually scored a few goals this year for Slovan Bratislava. But there's nothing in Vermaat really that, or even Jutla. Like as I said, Jutla's not even scored a goal in Belgium. So I think they've got a problem up front, to be honest. If I'm looking at Club Brugge, I'm saying to myself, Nelson's out. They signed Nelson, who scored a lot of goals in Belgium last year for OHL. I think looking at Vermaat and Jutla, they're not really players that you're going to come in and expect. Watch this, you'll probably score tonight now, because I've said that. But hopefully not. I don't see any problems there. I think the problems are going to come down the way.
As long as we score 2 or 3.
That's fine.
When he scores, I don't really care.
Lucky charm so I think the problems are going to come from Scott Olsen's a very good technical player, young Danish lad. Solis, as we've already spoke about, and Yashari's the key man in the middle of the park.
The one for me, the number 3, is it De Kuiper?
De Kuiper.
De Kuiper. He's the one that I think we'll get a lot of joy for. Because I think, for me personally, I've saw the lad play in show and a half now, because I've done a wee bit of my research. Not just this man that can do researches, no. But Kuhn, for what I've seen in both players, I think easily Kuhn will just eliminate him. He'll just totally isolate him.
Looking at the games that have been played, De Kuiper tends to be the backup man, really. Meyer has been playing in that left back
We've just
position.
did the name for the man for Slovan Bratislava,
Strelic. Who was that?
P. McLaughlin, well done, P. McLaughlin, thank you.
Strelic, that's the man. So De Kuiper tends to be more of the backup left back. Meyer had been playing there, but Meyer's a doubt tonight. So it would have been De Kuiper or Meyer. But you're right, I think De Kuiper, he's good going forward, but he lacks a wee bit going back, and I think Kuhn could take advantage of that.
He also goes wandering, as P. McLaughlin just said as well. He also goes wandering up the pitch, De Kuiper, and he leaves.
That's it.
And he leaves a big gap in behind.
And
you know what AJ likes to look that ball round.
Find that space, but I think that's one of the things you look at modern football now. Fullbacks aren't fullbacks anymore. You know, they are this wing back, but there's so much focus on a young wing back's mind about how they go forward. What do they do when they've got the ball? Sometimes they forget about what they've got to do behind them, and that's fundamentals. The good thing for us is we've got AJ. AJ knows his job front and back, so he knows exactly what he's doing. But you're right, De Kuiper does tend to wander, and to be honest, he likes being up here. I actually think he's probably been a winger previously.
Yeah, possibly.
He's got that look. He's got that like look about him when you see him playing. He's really focused about being up here. So there's definitely space to be had. I think in both wide areas there's space to be had there, definitely.
The big fella, is it Michaela?
Yeah.
He's very slow. And and this is what I'm saying as well. You talk about identifying them for us, but us looking at them and them identifying us, they were looking at us, and you'll be looking at Kyogo, and you'll be looking at... Do you see them changing their backline anyway to combat that, William? Because look at the speed we've got up top, man.
I think you'll see Yashari will probably be here helping. I think Yashari will jump in and help. I think you might, if he goes on Yedika as well, he'll probably have to come back as well, because he is probably more defensive minded, I would probably say, than attacking, though he can get forward. But I would say Yashari will jump back and help. Ordonez isn't a bad player. I would definitely... He didn't play at the weekend, so I'm thinking I might have rested him in the Santruden game, because as I said, that was a...
What's his attributes, Ordonez?
So I would say Ordonez is quite a young player. He's only maybe 21.
Is he a ball-playing centre-back?
I would say he is, yes, but I would say he's quick, he's strong, really physical, but I mean he's athletic with it. He's not slow. He's recently been playing for Ecuador, so he's been doing well in the South American qualifiers for them.
Okay.
So he's definitely one to watch. He's a player to watch in the years to come. I think he's definitely got a bright future. Him and Yashari, I think I've got a bright future ahead of him. So if he plays tonight, if it's Spaliers, if there's a problem with Ordonez, Spiliers will probably step in there and play. Spiliers is okay, but I don't think I think he'd be struggling to handle Kyogo. If Ordonez plays, I think he could have an important night for them tonight.
Right. Now, more on to us now. What way do you see us playing tonight and setting up?
So I think in terms of how we're going to play and set up, I think it's going to be the same as the Leipzig game, really. I don't see any reason why it should change. This is probably just my own personal opinion, but I'd really like to see Valle back in at left back.
Really?
I would.
Is there
There's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. I
Okay.
understand Brendan's reasoning for it, because if we take this as Celtic, Greg Taylor likes to come in here and join in the midfield. I really think we need that running power going forward this way, going straight ahead. I think Greg Taylor does get ahead there, but I think he's becoming more inverted into this position. I think I'd be looking for Valle to really be doing more overlaps on Maeda tonight, and that's probably my own view on it, my own preference. I know probably everybody won't agree on it, but I would probably like to see Valle play tonight compared to the Leipzig game. Everybody else, I would probably say, is a stick on. There's maybe a wee bit of doubt with me with Engels at the minute.
Yeah, we've got some comments coming in about that, and it's regarding Engels, and some think it's maybe a turn for Bernardo.
I'm thinking that myself. There's a bit of doubt in my mind, but then there's a bit of doubt in me going, he probably knows. Engels knows Club Brugge, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then he might raise his game because it is Club Brugge.
Is there any of the lads in the team just now Engels has come through with?
Good question. Would there be... How old is Engels? He's 20...
20...
Maybe not. I think he left Brugge when he was a teenager, wasn't he?
I think he's 21, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I
thought he
so.
was a bit older than that. I'm not sure, mate.
Same again,
I'm
guys.
not sure. If
Give
anyone
us
knows,
anyone knows, give us
anyone can help us.
what age is Arnie Engels? There you go. Offhand, when we're sitting here live, it just evades our heads for some reason.
Just try to think when he left Club Brugge. I think he left as a teenager, so I don't think so. But there might be. If someone can tell us, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be good. I know he's a young lad, but...
Yeah. So I think Engels for Bernardo, I get that argument at the minute. I think Bernardo came on against Hearts at the weekend, and for me, Bernardo was phenomenal when he came on off the bench. One of the goal we obviously set up, obviously taking the ball off and then playing it in.
Yes.
Like at the weekend was phenomenal. I think he merits a start, to be honest. I think
Big Rab says Engels is 2021.
2021, is he?
He's got to be one of them, Rab. Come on. He's got to be one of them. He can't be between. That's like me saying I'm 39, nearly 40. I'm 40, so come on. He's got to be one of them.
So yeah, I can understand the argument with Bernardo and Engels.
Yeah.
I think if that change was to happen, I think that's not a bad change.
Good. Right, so probably come to the point now where I would ask you for Celtic's team. Who do you think the team will be?
Who do I think it will be, or who do I want it to be? Who do I think it
Both.
will be?
You can give me both if you want.
I think he's going to go with the same side again against Leipzig. I think it's going to be, Kasper, Johnson, Trusty, CCV, Taylor. It'll be McGregor, Engels, Hatate, Kuhn, Maeda, Kyogo. I think that's what it's going to be.
Do you think he'll play Bernardo? No,
I don't think he will.
You think he'll play Engels?
I think he'll play Engels. If I'm thinking about it myself, I would like to say the change would take Taylor out, put Valle in, and I would like to see Bernardo actually play. Because you know what? See if it's like 55, 60 minutes, we're maybe chasing it, or we're maybe at a draw, you could bring Engels on then and give him that freedom to go and do it. He might come on and change the game for you. So I think that would be mine.
Big Rab says he's been up all night, so we'll have to give him a break with that one. He's got the builders in there now fixing his roof from the storm.
Oh, for God's sake.
Francis Lester joining us also. He says, is that Stone JP? I do not know, but I've missed something. I don't know. Maybe. I'm still too early for me, folks. Honestly, I've no woke up. You'll never walk alone. Paradise says Engels is about 19, 20 or 21.
Somebody needs to give us a fight.
Somebody needs to give us the age. Come on.
Somebody needs to give us the age.
Give us his age.
Google it, please.
Somebody Google it. Click off the stream for a wee minute and go and look for it. He's 21. There you go.
21.
Big Rab. Mero White's come in as well. Mero White's come in as well.
Well
21. So well done, guys. Thanks for that. We'll let you open one of the windows in our advent calendars this year for that one. So, my team, who I think it'll be, I think it'll be Kasper Schmeichel, I think it'll be Alistair Johnson, I think it'll be Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty, I'm the same as you. I actually think it's going to be Vi.
Oh, do you? Right,
Yes,
okay.
I think it's going to be Vi. For the simple reason of what you explained, the running power.
Yep.
But not only that as well, he's 1-on-1s. He'll probably be up against Scove Wilson tonight, and he's 1-on-1s in the duels. Really good, very good.
I think you saw that in the Leipzig game when he came on.
Yeah.
He was everywhere and he was chasing.
Not only that,
up and
you
down.
look at the Dortmund game, he came on at half time. I know albeit the game was finished,
Aye.
but every Duranville took him on about 4 or 5 times and he won the ball every single time. He couldn't beat him.
I genuinely think Alex Valley is a quality player. And
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be here long. So I think you just use him
No, I
as
totally
much as
agree.
you can. That's
Totally
the way
agree.
That's my view on it.
Yep, I totally agree. So I think he'll play Vi tonight. I think it's time now for him to come back into the side. For some reason, he's been playing well, and then all of a sudden he's ended up out of the team. With no explanation as to why.
Yeah.
But I think tonight is a game that's, it's a game that it's set for him to come in and do it. So.
Yep. Okay. I agree with you. Yep.
So I think Vi will play. I think the midfield, personally, I think it's going to be Bernardo, Hatate and McGregor. I think he will make the change. Although, if Engels plays, I won't be surprised. But I do think that might be the team because, again, mate, how often can you come in, William? Like you says, he came in on Saturday night against Hearts and he was absolute quality. There's only so many times you can do that, mate, without the manager going, right, I'm going to need to play you the next game.
He merits a start for me, Bernardo. He must be doing this on the training field
Yeah.
every day as well. And you just saw the impact he had at Tynecastle. Like I was like, wow, blown away. Like just how positive, how good. He's just technically so good. Like honestly, like I think he's definitely going to be a big player for us going forward. I think he now merits a start. Maybe just I think Engels, his form's just dropped slightly. I think he's lost that bit of impact. But listen, as someone's just said, he's 21.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's not.
I think he's actually just turned 21 now, if I remember.
He's not the finished article.
Yeah.
He's not the finished article. So sometimes you maybe just need to rein him back a wee bit. Let him take a bit of rest. Let him come off the bench, and then you can maybe bring him back into the fold after Christmas.
I think I've twigged now what Francis was meaning regarding was that Stone. He's trying to be funny. I think he's because I said my age is 39, 40. I think he's trying to be funny.
That's no nice.
Wee bit cheeky for Francis,
that's
wee
no
bit
nice.
cheeky. It's probably because I said he looks like Graham Souness. And he phoned in the dial-in the other night and I'd sat and says, it's Graham Souness with a Celtic tap on and I couldn't get the view of what I was seeing.
He'll not like you
So,
for that.
no, that's him probably trying to get me back, but fair enough, fair play. The two wingers, I think it'll be Kuhn and Maeda,
Yeah.
and I think he'll go with Kyogo. I've seen a few Celtic fans, William, saying that they think he'll go with Adamida.
Right.
I think I'd be surprised if he started with Adamida.
I'll be surprised if he does that. I don't think there's any reason to suggest that we need somebody like Adamida starting the game. Like a lot of people, like Adamida has got qualities about him, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I still think there's a bit of rawness about him. I think touching on Adamida in terms of his kind of attributes, I think his hold-up play could be better.
Yeah.
I think ball retention could be better. I really think he needs to work on, and I'm sure he probably is, and I'm sure they probably analyse it when they look back on the video, really getting the ball into feet and doing something positive with it. Not letting the ball bounce off you, not try to turn into space and run and give the ball away. Just get the ball into feet, protect it, don't let the defence, because listen, he's a big physical guy, he's a powerful guy. He really needs to show better ball protection for me in games, and I think in a game,
he was unlucky in Atalanta, wasn't he, William? But he was trying to get his up. There was a couple of ones he chested onto Nicholas Kuhn and we nearly broke right through up the pitch.
But I think, that the Atalanta game was a different challenge for us in terms of we had to make sure the ball was getting away from our third into their third quickly. So we're playing direct balls up to it, and then his running power could drag people in and out, or he could drop it in. But again, I think he just needs to improve that. See if he can improve that. He'll be a frightening striker because he's got pace. He can score goals. See if he can just improve the hold-up play and bring others into play. I really think he could be a really good striker.
Do you think he brings an anxiety to the opposition when he's on the pitch? Like he becomes a focal point for Celtic, in my opinion, and I think he he brings a fear factor along with him because I think opposition knows. I mean, you look at him on Saturday night, he comes off the bench and scores 2 goals. Now, many times has he done that? He's done that several times for us now.
And he is doing that, and it's good to see him doing that. I think, to answer your question, yeah, I don't think you'd want to mark a guy like Adam either, would you? But then again, whenever I played football, you didn't want to mark the wee guy either. So you wouldn't want to mark Kyogo. So you tend to obviously take the legs away from him. But I think Adam Eder has got, as I said, he's got a lot of qualities about him. He can come off the bench and score goals in games like at Tynecastle. They've done it at Fir Park as well, didn't he? So I think he's a different weapon for us to bring on to a game to maybe change it. But I do think, in terms of his all-round game, really improving that ball retention, I think is key for him to become a top striker.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else have we covered?
I think we've got, unless anybody's got any questions or anything like that, I think we've pretty much covered.
Has anybody else got
Brugge.
anything you would like to ask myself or William?
Maybe the only thing to throw in is for myself is at the club. And
Dedrick Boyata, but he's not been playing tonight.
He's not kicked the ball all season.
He's not even in the Champions League squad,
I don't think he is, mate. No, I had a look at this.
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but he obviously joined. He was at Hertha Berlin when they got relegated a couple of years ago, and he obviously went back to Belgium under Club Brugge. He probably would have played under Ronnie Dyler when Club Brugge.
Yeah.
He would have probably played under him. So
Ronnie signed him for Celtic.
So there's a connection there. But since the new manager's been in, he's not really featured much, so don't expect to see him tonight.
No,
I don't even think he's travelled with the squad. So.
I did see an interview with him. I saw a bit of the surrounding chat of that, and he was saying something that Brendan invited him for dinner.
Oh, right, okay.
So I think he's here.
Oh, right,
I think
so
he's in the country.
Listen,
but
he was a good player for Celtic.
He was a good player for Celtic. I liked it.
He done well for us, so he did. So fair play.
And he had a fair turn of speed as well, the big fella, and he was quite quick
he's
as well.
Obviously, I think he must be 33, 34.
Yeah, he must be. Yeah,
about there now, so he's coming to the tail end of his career. So
Ryan's just said there, Kyogo has to play. We want to be on the front foot.
Yeah, definitely, Ryan. Totally agree, mate.
And because I said that was us coming to the end, a few comments coming in saying, is that last orders? It is for us, definitely.
Aye, that's us.
Going to change the name of this episode to Last Orders. Last orders at the pod.
Just as the pub's getting busier.
Definitely. But to you guys, again, thanks very much for tuning in with us today. Thanks to you for coming along.
No, good to see you, JP, and good to see everyone or speak to everyone via the stream. And yeah, thanks a lot for having me, and I hope you've found this informative.
Oh, 100%. We always do, mate.
Fingers crossed we get a good performance tonight and a good
result.
result.
But that's the thing. I mean, we always do find it informative because what certain people might not see, they get a right good view of that when you're here and here. Will you be here for the next one?
So the next one is Dynamo Zagreb.
Zagreb, I think it is.
Yes, but it won't be live.
It won't be live, no.
But I will be here. I'm not in the country when the game is on.
Yeah,
so I am abroad.
We will, as William says, we will be recording that one for you.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Yeah, no, we'll do every game, and listen, hopefully we're doing more of these after January. So
yeah, 100%.
Hopefully qualify. 100%. Hopefully a good result tonight will set us on that path.
And William probably be back on again with us for the cup final.
Yeah.
To give us a lowdown on that mob across the water, as we call them. I think Barry Bannon's going to join us for that one as well, so that'll be a good chat as well.
That'll be great.
Be a good insight. Well done to Lindsay for winning the bonus ball, Lindsay. You need to contact us. In fact, if Ryan, if you're still tuning in, pal, can you double check and see if Lindsay's previous message is still there, and we can do one better and we can actually contact her. And we'll go for there, and thanks everybody that took part in the bonus ball. And above all else, hail. If you're going tonight, please wrap up well. As we know, still -11 in Glasgow. That's why I'm kicking about in this fine hoodie. I will have a scarf on because it gets colder as it gets to night time. But take care. Hail. We will see you again. We'll probably be back on Friday with the aftermath of tonight. And a wee look ahead to the Ross County game. And I think I've mentioned everything, have I? Yes, I have. Remember, folks, I'm not on Monday. I'm not on the dial-in. I am in the East End Community Radio.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so I'm I'm taking part in that, representing the channel, of course. Above all else, if you like and subscribe, totally free to do it. Click the button, folks, and join our family, and we will be indebted to you for as long as we can thank you. But take care, hail, and we'll see you all again later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.